And I think a lot of people are just in denial. The Trump of 2026 is not the Trump of 2016. Maybe this guy was always there deep down, certainly a possibility. But in 2015 and 2016, when Trump got up and said, I'm not going to take a side in the Israel-Palestine conflict. Rubio is a puppet of the Adelsons. Maybe that was a facade. Either way, that is different than what we're getting now. And for all these people out there that are still talking about loyalty to the president, you need to really take a good, long, hard look in the mirror. How much dignity and self-respect do you have? Do you love yourself? How can you continue to support somebody that seems to have no allegiance to you, no loyalty to you, no love for you? I see these scenes, like I said, it's literally, it's this True Social post. It's this rumor that Trump actually called Loomer. She didn't call him. Trump called Loomer. I just bombed Iran. Aren't you proud of me? Lindsey Graham sticking his head out in Air Force One. And you go, for all these people that are unpaid cheerleaders for Trump, is Trump calling you on the phone? Mr. Posters are in control. Mr. Don't be a panikin. Mr. Trusting the plan. Fuck it, MAGA hat back on. Is Trump calling you for your advice? Are you friends with Trump? Are you dining with Trump in Mar-a-Lago, having lunch? Do you have influence over him and over the policies? Because if not, why not? It's not because nobody has that kind of influence. Laura Loomer has it, and she's an idiot. She's literally an insane person. Have you ever heard her? Have you ever met her? She literally got 5150'd by her own family. She's a nut job. She's fucking crazy. She has emotional breakdowns constantly in public. Ugly crying, screaming, and yelling. And the president calls her, not you, not Mike Cernovich, not Jack Posobiec, not Andrew Torba, not any of these guys that were shucking and jiving and tap dancing and cooning for Trump, unpaid, well, as far as we know, maybe they were being paid, for years. So it's not like nobody has that influence. It's not like nobody has that kind of clout or pull. You don't. And you know who has it? Mark Levin, Laura Loomer, Fox News. These are the people that, Randy Fine, Lindsey Graham, these are the people that have the ear of the president. And I don't know about you, but if someone else had that kind of influence and I didn't, I'd be pretty pissed. If I was endlessly supporting somebody and using my resources to help that person, and that person was disloyal to me, and then they were friends with people that want me dead, that want my priorities to be forgotten about, I would be in protest. This is like 101. That's like the definition of being a cuck. You, for free. These people go out and support Trump, cheerlead for Trump, everything like that on Twitter, on the campaign, whatever. And he doesn't give a shit about you. He's not talking to you. He's not talking to people that represent you or your interests. And I'm not even talking about me anymore. I've been out of this for a long time. I resigned from the Trump train in 24, basically. But I'm talking about all these other people. And he's sleeping with the enemy. Laura Loomer, Mark Levin, the usual suspects. I would be pissed.
Now, Laura Loomer is widely unpopular. She's a crash out, and more so, it's pretty evident that she is Israel first. She recently stated that she advises Trump and helps weed out unloyal people in the conservative movement. And Nick is right, and I do agree with him. She's crazy. She's a crash out. And if you're on Twitter, you know exactly what I'm talking about. She's not even allowed to even own a gun legally. Like, that's how serious it is. Her own family thinks she's crazy. Laura Loomer is just one of the many people of the Trump loyalists that Trump can do no wrong and Trump is just so perfect. There's very rarely, if not, scratch that, they don't criticize Trump for anything whatsoever. They think he could do no wrong. I'm not a big fan of that. I think you should be capable of criticizing who you like and who you support. I would say Laura Loomer, she is very fast at breaking out stories as they happen all throughout the day, all these developments. But yeah, I do agree with Nick. She is really crazy.
But over the weekend, Tucker Carlson, I'm sure you've seen this, he released a video on Saturday claiming that the CIA has been spying on his communications, that they intercepted his text messages with contacts inside of Iran. We don't know who those people are or the contents of the messages or what that's even all about. But Tucker claims that in the lead up to the war with Iran, U.S. intelligence was intercepting his text messages, and they believe, based on what they have seen, that Tucker is in violation of FARA, the Foreign Agent Registration Act, that he is effectively lobbying on behalf of a foreign government, in this case Iran, without making the proper disclosures, without reporting it to the proper bodies in the U.S. government. And so Tucker says somehow he has learned this information and that the CIA is preparing a report for the Justice Department, and that will then inform a criminal referral. That the CIA is making a referral to the DOJ, and the DOJ will then prosecute Tucker for the text messages. He says this is going to happen to him very soon, although he's not worried. Now, again, just like with Joe Kent, what exactly are we to make of this? In the first place, we apparently now know that Tucker must be in contact with the Iranian government. If the CIA is spying on him, the CIA only operates outside the U.S. border. They only operate internationally. They cannot operate, at least on paper, domestically. So if they're intercepting the communications, it is because Tucker is sending text messages to a foreign country. What's more, if they are referring him to the DOJ for a criminal prosecution under FARA, then that would suggest that he's not in contact with just anybody in the Iranian country, but the Iranian government itself. And then that begs the question, what is a podcaster doing talking to the government of Iran as the U.S. prepares to go to war with Iran? It's an interesting question. Do those communications exist? What's in them? What is he saying to them? It's hard to know what to make of that, because on the one hand, you would like to say, this is an obvious crackdown on free speech. And what's more, it's an obvious crackdown on a prominent anti-war voice, and specifically an anti-Israel war voice. So my first gut reaction is, well, they're really coming after everybody now. They went after Charlie Kirk, perhaps. Now they're coming after Tucker Carlson. Who's next? Me? That was my first thought. Then my second thought is, wait a second. Is this not the mother of all self-reports? Are you not just admitting that you're talking to the Iranian government? Because you could say something to the effect of, first they came for the Tuckers, and I said nothing because I never talked to the government in Tehran. Then they came for... But I never talked to the government of Iran, and I never talked to the government of Saudi Arabia or Qatar or Israel or any of these countries for that matter. Why is it that Tucker always seems to be doing that? I never talked to the government of Argentina, of Spain, of Hungary, of Russia, of Serbia, of Qatar, of Saudi Arabia, of Iran, of Israel. But Tucker seems to be talking to all these governments. And one has to wonder, what is that? You know, as Tucker would say, to borrow a phrase, so what is that? What exactly is going on there? Why is this podcaster, why is this glorified podcaster talking to all these foreign governments? And what exactly is he saying? And what is going on there? Why would that be happening?
If you've been keeping up in the world of Tucker Carlson lately, you know that he came out recently this week saying that the CIA did intercept some private text messages. The purpose of that is to frame him for a crime. I really do like Tucker Carlson a lot, and I do like Nick a lot. I agree with Nick about 80% of the time, but I think it's a bit of a reach if you're tripping on the fact he is talking about it, that he is talking to these world leaders. If I'm a journalist, I'm talking to as much world leaders as I can. I'm traveling to certain places. I'm even going to try to talk to Kim Jong-un if I have the resources to do so. But I don't think there's anything shady going on with Tucker Carlson right there. But what Nick is saying stems from their up and down roller coaster relationship with each other. You know,
I would love to rush to his defense and say this is a crackdown on anti-war sentiment. But you know what? If he was talking to the government of Iran, that is a little bit suspicious. And if the government came for me, you know what I would say? I would say, I'm not talking to the government of Iran. You know? He comes out and says, well, I'm not being paid by Iran, but I am talking to them because I'm an American. And it's like, okay, but you do realize most Americans are not talking to any foreign government at all. Actually, I think most Americans don't even have a passport. Most Americans haven't even been to Canada or Mexico. And you're talking to like every G20 government in the world. You're talking to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the Emirates. He goes and says, Mohammed bin Zayed is the wisest man in the world. And I know that because I'm best friends with him. And you go, so what again does that have to do with being an American? And we can all say we can defend the war in Iran without talking to the government in Iran. I don't really know what that is. It's very strange to me. And I'm not condemning him, by the way. I am very suspicious of the criminal referral, but I also do wonder, is that foreign influence? Because it's a fine line. Here I am in Chicago, in America, and I don't talk to any foreign government. And as an American, I tell other Americans not to support the war. If you're flying to and from the Persian Gulf all the time, if you're in the Arabian Peninsula, 6 months out of the year, and you're making the rounds, hanging out with Mohammed bin Salman, Mohammed bin Zayed, you're in Iran, you're in Serbia, you're in Russia, you're in Argentina, at that point, you kind of say, okay, so this isn't normal. Something is not right there. I don't know who he is or what he is, but he's not what he says he is. There's sort of this weird, we're sort of supposed to entertain these two thoughts in our head at once. And once Tucker is just a simple, down-to-earth guy like the rest of us, hey man, I just like fishing and hunting. I'm simple. I just like to go in a sauna and play with my dogs and have sex with my wife, and I like nicotine. And I just like hunting and fishing. And it's like, really? So then what are you doing in Saudi Arabia all the time? Like, what are you doing in Qatar all the time? You doing a lot of hunting and fishing over there? Like, what the fuck is that? So at once, hey, I just like my dogs and I'm not rich. I drive an old truck. I drive an old stick shift truck. I don't want any electronics in my car. Really? Because you fly in a private jet to Saudi Arabia all the time and hang out with the royal family. So one of these things is not like the other. You think Duck Dynasty's doing that? I don't think so.
So again, I don't think Tucker Carlson is some foreign agent or enemy of the American people just for investigating and doing some journalist work. I think that's good journalism. I don't think Nick should be beefing with Tucker Carlson, accusing him of such things. It would be really cool if they could form an alliance, but I'm very curious to see what you guys think about it. Do you guys like Tucker Carlson a lot? Do you agree with Nick right here that it is kind of shady that he is talking to all these foreign leaders, governments, exchanging text messages with certain people? Yeah, so very curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section. Make sure you like, subscribe. Peace.